Hello everyone, welcome to Wild Writing the Time of Corona. We're going to do an ordinary workshop today, which means that to write your poem you'll need to make a list of six prompts, and I'll give you those, and you can see what you come up with. So, you ready for a list? So, paper, pen, well done, or computer or laptop, whatever you use. So the first one is a postcard. So whatever you think of when the word postcard comes. You might like to write these down first and then write your responses. The second is a museum piece. So something that you'd find in a museum, whatever sort of museum it is. The third is moving water, some sort of moving water. The fourth is footsteps. So some sort of footsteps. The fifth is telling a story, and that can be somebody that you imagine telling a story, or it can actually be you doing this, making the poem into a story, which is actually what I ended up doing. And the sixth is an amount of time, so a kind of unit of time, however much you decide. So, postcard, a museum piece, moving water, footsteps, telling a story, and an amount of time. So if you write down what comes into your head when you hear those, that will give you your basic structure, the basic elements of your poem. And I try and suggest that people use at least four, and I think probably today you can manage to use all six of them, particularly if you choose to do it as a narrative, as a story that's to be told. I think as soon as I put a postcard on, for some reason, and a museum piece, I thought of some of the World War I postcards that were made up of little embroidered pieces that people had done in France or Belgium, and then sweethearts are sent home to their love. And this then led me to a story of my a distant relative whose not grave I've visited, but who's a memorial I visited, because he has we don't know where he's buried, so I just saw his name in Belgium. Right, so my responses to share with you how I did the process. The postcard, as I said, was from the World War I battlefields around Christmas 1916. The museum piece, I imagined an artifact from World War I, such as one of these cards in a museum case in the Imperial War Museum in London, which is one of the best places I know to find out about this. The moving water, I imagined basically water which was lying in mud, which was moving with soldiers' feet. Footsteps, I just imagine soldiers walking for whatever reason, usually because they had to, but sometimes because they wanted to. The telling a story was gave me the way to construct this, so I imagined it as a story that I was telling to a younger person who was very dear to me. And the amount of time I took as a century. So I actually shaped all of my prompts to this particular story. And I've chosen a form to write it in as well, which, if I'm honest, I don't think is that effective for the way I write, but I've chosen to write it in rhyming couplets. What I haven't particularly got right is the rhythm, and sometimes I lose that in it. But the story, I've cased it, I've kind of given it a definite start, and then the start ties to the end. And it may seem, possibly, that I've romanticised this story, but the person it's about is a real person. The places mentioned are real. The romance is a little bit fabricated because I don't know the details of it. But the writing I have actually seen. Anyway, so this is, I haven't got a title for this one. Everybody has a story, a beginning and an end. Listen closely, best beloved. Ribbons of the past will mend. I'll take you back to northern France more than a century ago. The River Douve, the barracks there, was where young Mark Eldred had to go. One of 13, he'd left Blackheath, his sisters, his mother's, for a soldier boy. An engineer from Dover Road, with his Bible, his notebook, memories of Mary, his joy. Christmas time was coming with the chill, the shock of snow on frozen ground. Mark's thoughts turned to Mary. When could they marry? A silent dream in a warm corner he found. A free afternoon in Armentières. They'd been sent down the line for a few days. A lacy postcard caught his eye. Joyeux Noël in the little shop's displays. Sitting in the square, resting on his knee, his old pencil looping the letters of his love, posted it, ambled back through the woods, his mates telling stories, giving him a shove. A young engineer, Mark Griffin died, like so many, in the Battle of Messines. One of the many tunnellers changing geography in 1917. Mary had only a postcard. She lovingly caressed the fine silk thread. Hardly could she bear the words inside, talking of their wedding. He couldn't wait, he said. A century has passed now, so many dead and gone. The Christmas card stands in a museum case. Children seeing it are taken back to a time of romance from a mud-riddled place. Such fragile memories of hope last longer than a grown man's bones, opening windows into other worlds where there is laughter along with the moans. Ironically, such introspection can always give us a start, for we see the overwhelming hope that fills the all-too-human heart. Mark never married Mary, though with every breath he wanted to. They're all dead and gone. Their thread has been spun. Now, best beloved, it's up to you. So that's my story about my relative Mark Griffin Eldred and his death, I suppose, and how looking back, it sometimes encourages us to look forward. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do feel free to write your own, and I will see you in a couple of days for another workshop and another poem. Until then, you take care.